Welcome to the second installment of YouTube Poop Universe, where in this episode we will be discussing where do you start when making your first YouTube poop. Well, that should be fairly easy. I mean, think about why you wanted to make a YouTube poop. Did you watch an episode of SpongeBob and you thought it was pretty funny, but you could make it funnier? Or is it just the fact you want SpongeBob to glitch out, and that'd be funny? Just look for those things. Look for something that you enjoy, something that's easy to edit. And that includes clearly pronounced words for like word splicing and stuff. Well, that really depends on what kind of YouTube poop you're planning on making. I mean, do you want to make the kind of YouTube poops that are like really loud, considered ear rape? That's one category, or something that's really glitchy, or something that's word splicing. It depends on what you want to use. Consider you want to make a YouTube poop that's like all ear rape and a lot of glitchy effects. You can either just use Windows Movie Maker and just cut it and amplify it, or suggest using WavePad, one of the tools I suggested in the last episode. Because you can amplify, you can echo, you can make it sound really distorted, and it adds for some very interesting effects. As for word splicing YouTube poops, it really depends. It depends on the quality of your video, for one, if you can splice it very easily. If you can't, then yes, I do suggest using WavePad, but first use Switch. Use a Switch file converter, another tool that I described in my last episode. Convert it to MP3, load it in WavePad, and edit the sound that way, so you can more accurately edit it, because you can zoom in, you can do it very precisely. And if you want to do just mainly word splicing, I suggest using those two programs, along with Windows Movie Maker. Well, that part is really up to you, but I suggest no more than 10 minutes just to keep your audience and your viewers occupied and entertained the whole time. And I guess you could also base this on two different factors. One, you could limit the video to half the size of the source video, which gives you more room for error, more stuff to work with. And second, it doesn't really matter what you use in the video as long as you have it at least half. Any more and it might be too much, and you won't have much to work with, and too less is just, well, simply too less, and you don't have enough stuff to work with. So my answer to that question would be limit it to 10 or half the length of your source video. Some basic editing skills that we will be talking about today is cutting, dragging, capturing pictures, editing the photos, and making a simple animation. First, let's talk about getting the pictures to make simple animations. What you want to do is just when you're playing a clip, look for something in particular that you think would be good for some animation, such as this screenshot here. And then make sure your thing's at full view so you get a better picture. And then take a snapshot of it and save it however you like. And once you have it saved, then you're ready to do your simple animation. Now, when making animations with Paint, there are some very critical things you need to remember. Remember to save your base picture, meaning if you have a picture, let's say that Patrick one I saved, if you have a picture where his hand is up, but you also want another hand doing something else, make sure you save it as a separate file, so if you make a mistake you can go back, and so you can easily start a new one with that same position. And when you're working with Paint, it's a little bit harder than a lot of animators, so make sure you pay attention to the screenshots as I explain them. Here is the original screenshot that I took earlier out of Windows Movie Maker, and here's the edit. Notice how I added a false arm that I made myself using the color selection tool and basically drawing an arm for him, and then placing a censored bar in the center, indicating that there's, well, you know. Now this is the same exact picture, but I manually moved the arm up and erased a few features so it looks like his hand is up. And this is a variation of the second one where he's looking down. In this photo, it's edited so it looks like he's, excited or something. Now take a look at this simple animation to get an idea of what it would look like. Now that simple animation took 27 stills, but even though it took a long time to place those, about maybe 7 minutes, you get the basic idea of how a paint animation will work. And then once you're done making it, you can simply take those pictures, save it as a movie, and place it over where the original still was, and just simply add it to your YouTube poop. The next thing I'll be talking about is fairly simple and very easy to figure out after a while, is just simple cutting and dragging, taking files, putting them onto the video, and cutting them for use. But one thing you may not know, and which is slightly annoying, and I'll teach you how to get around it, is that when you put videos and pictures into the video section of Windows Movie Maker, it will automatically snap all your videos, all your files, so they're grouped together. So basically there's no spaces. Audio and music and title overlay, you can have spaces between there, that's fine. But the only way to create spaces in your videos, let's say you edit a sound file, but you don't want the video playing when you have that new sound there. You simply take a snapshot of when the video starts, and I'll show this in a moment. Take a snapshot, cut it, place the picture there for as long as you need, and then when the music, title A, YouTube poop, sound, anything that's there, including title overlay, when it's done, have the picture stop right there and go on to the video. It may look a little weird because it pauses, but then you can add effects to make it less boring. Well, first of all, let's learn about snapping the pictures into the video section and cutting them. The first thing you will want to do is take your video from the top and drag it down to the video section of the timeline. And drag the audio to the audio music section of the timeline. If you want to split a video, drag the timeline marker where you want, go up to Clip, and click Split. This will split the video into two, shown by the center of this red circle. It also starts with a thumbnail from where it starts. Determine how much space you will need and cut it where you need to cut it. Now simply take a snapshot of the thumbnail from where it begins and use that picture to add as a filler for your blank spot. Now that you know the basics of editing in Windows Movie Maker and doing simple animations, experiment with it. Try it out with yourself, but don't expect yourself to do it the very first time, because like I said when I was doing the animation, it takes a long time and it's very hard to get everything just right.